Hello everybody, what is up? And welcome to my first episode of my new podcast. This is HOLLYWEIRD and I am your host, Karinamarie. I want to give you a quick rundown of what this podcast is going to be about. This is a spirituality, mental, motivating, all things affirmation, law of attraction, manifesting, except the things they don't tell you, and mainly things that I've learned firsthand, because a lot of these spiritual coaches, they start at the top and you kind of have to figure your way through. I am going to be here to tell you what the universe does not give a fuck, sorry for my language, about, and what it does, because it's not always just about being positive and having a positive attitude and mindset. There's so much more involved, as that is just a single layer. And I feel like a lot of people kind of make it strictly about that. There's so much more. So I want to dive deep into that and really kind of accumulate a plethora of tips and tricks that you guys can use that are universal for everyone to manifest now, manifest instantly, and immediately raise your frequency so that you're vibrating at the level of success or abundance that you want to achieve. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. Subscribe now. I'm so happy you're here. In today's episode, not only do I want to discuss how to remove the clutter in your mind so that you can have a good experience in making anything happen for yourself. Remember, you guys, I want you to know it truly doesn't matter where you are in your life, what stage you're at in your life, where you live, how much money you have in your bank account. None of that matters if you can follow these certain steps that I am going to be explaining over the course of the next 6 months. We are going to tackle topic by topic and really go through everything, because I have started from square one. I have lost everything, rebuilt everything, gotten all my basic needs back and more, all while being a single mother. My story is very instrumental to why I'm creating this podcast, why I'm doing what I'm doing now with this channel, and why I want to help not only other women, but men and anyone who may be struggling or losing hope, or even people who are in the midst of it all, but they're still not kind of getting the results that they want. It's good to keep an open mind and to really have things completely open so that you can absorb more and see things from different perspectives. This life is all about service and helping people and what you can do for the world, and that is going to benefit you in unbelievable ways. So I want you guys to follow along. Let's talk abundance blocks, how they got there, why they're there, and most importantly, how we get rid of them. Make sure you're commenting below so I know you're following along. You guys can ask me whatever you want down there and I will respond. And this is going to help all of us grow. This podcast is so much more to me than what I've been doing on my channel for so many years now, over 15 years. I want to help. I'm excited about it. I'm passionate, and I want to explain my story before anything so that we can build the trust, so that you guys can understand where I'm coming from in all of this and why I feel like you can use my tips. And what goes on inside of your brain is what appears in your daily life. And it's difficult to hone in, because sometimes we mentally convince ourselves that we are there and we're positive and we're ready for this, but we're not really spiritually there. And that's when speaking with God and speaking with the universe comes into play big time. In other words, going straight to the source. I am all about things happening organically. Some things take longer than others, and that's completely okay. Comparison is a thief of joy. That's another thing I want to get into. How social media affects our day-to-day mental awareness, projection, all of it. It takes up so much capacity within not just our mind, but within our soul and our self. And this is where it stems from the root of your complete subconscious mind. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else's life, that is not your journey, that is not your step to take. We can't go around comparing ourselves to other people, other people's lives. We're all so different. We're all walking a different path. Day-to-day experiences play a huge part in where you are at and where you're going. So we can't possibly be on the same page as every single person. Removing clutter from your mind, how to really hone in and dive deep and kind of understand the logistics of your subconscious mind altogether and the root of where this begins and how to really tap into starting down there or up there, whether it's your third eye, your subconscious, and identifying that within the being of your soul is where we want to get to, and that is how we trigger change in our lives. Because it's one thing to tell yourself things, but it's another thing to reprogram something that you're not consciously all the time active in awareness. So removing that layer, removing the veil, and getting behind the curtain, I'm going to show you how to do that. Follow along. The first topic I want to get into is abundance, because let's be honest, we all want to see it in our lives. We all want to see it pop up, whether you want more of it or you want it in general, wherever you are at in your journey. I feel like the center of this world is always thinking about money, which is not always a good thing, and I'm not here condoning it, but I do want to help you trigger, because you deserve the money and we all deserve the money, and we all have to know that there's more than enough money to go around. We have to know that the world is unfolding in a way that is going to help us all, because that is what we want to trigger within our subconscious to create in our world. Number one, if you are seeing someone who's younger than you, not as book smart, doesn't have the type of degree or work experience that you have, and you see them having all these incredible things, or like they are driving a sports car, or they just won a bunch of money, or they went viral overnight for a single video when you've been posting for years, your immediate reaction is going to be, that's not fair, maybe they don't deserve it. I've put in more work than them. How is this working? Why did it happen to them? Why not me, 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 me? It's selfish, and it's not in an act of service. Now, switching your mindset to congratulations to them. Thank you, universe, for showing me that experience so that I can be inspired to have that too. That is such an important detail, because if you're constantly going around seeing people who are doing better than you going, I should have that, I deserve that, why did it happen to them, why hasn't it happened to me yet, that is creating instantly a bad relationship with money. And if you have a bad relationship with money, why is the universe going to want to give it to you, give you any of it, give you more, or give you any, just in general? Because that is creating in your subconscious that you're not actively thinking about a relationship to money that revolves around the fact of, I should have that, why don't I have that, that person doesn't deserve it. Instead of, thank you for showing me that I can have that too through someone else. It's the littlest details, and that's where we need to start. That's where I want to begin. You absolutely do not want to put a bad wavelength into someone else's income or abundance. So even if you're feeling negatively towards it, you need to say out loud to yourself, I am happy for them. Thank you for showing me that I can have that too. And that is going to instantly start to trigger the mind to change. Now, it's not going to happen within minutes. It's not going to happen overnight. But over time, those tiny little switches are going to start to turn. So that's a little food for thought. A lot of things are affecting your inner thoughts and subconscious that you don't realize. Becoming aware is so much more than just being positive and thinking about yourself in a positive life. It is not about us. It's about how we can serve others in this world. Through service and love, abundance will flow naturally. You can't just be thinking me, me, me. It has to be from the heart. It has to be, how can I benefit other people through my talents or my services, whatever it is. It can't be manipulated. It has to be genuine, starting that relationship with money and abundance. As we all know, I'm sure you've all heard, gratitude is the number one key to abundance, but it starts with these small things, and that's behind the curtain. Because you can say, well, I'm positive about money, and I feel like I'm going to make money, and I have these good intentions, and I know I deserve it. But if you're doing all those things, those are all the right things, and then you see someone who has it and you're like, well, I should have that, that's a negative. So it's automatically going to counteract, and that's when the switch occurs. So those are the little tiny switches that you want to change so that you can go back to continuing your path, because the tiniest things can throw you off, and becoming aware of these things are what we want to do here. So just tricking your brain is a good start. Even if you don't feel it right away, you need to say it. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the awareness. Thank you for showing me that. Thank you for the inspiration. I can have that too. Social media, of course, shows us that people receive things instantly, which is not always true. And that's what I was saying in the beginning. Social media starts a comparison in your brain, and that affects your subconscious mind, where you need it now, and then you become desperate. And when you are desperate for things, you are pushing them away. You have to let go. You have to understand that person, even if they did get it overnight, they had their own path and their own journey leading up to that you didn't see. And that's the part that you don't know. Therefore, you don't have a right to criticize or even have a thought in your mind whether they deserved it or not. You need to just hone back in and focus on what matters here. And that is gratitude and service of our world. So basically just getting back to self. And when you're back to self, you're in your light, then you're not criticizing, you're able to then grow. That's when you're able to give an act of service, because you gave it to yourself first. Always coming back to self and stopping the thoughts. That is how you trigger a different frequency to move forward in creating the life that you want for yourself. It is never as it seems, and I can promise you that. Living in Hollywood for over 10 years now, I have seen nothing as it seems, even when you're almost sure of it. So it really is the smallest steps that you can take in decluttering your mind, and it's truly as simple as the second you start thinking or you notice these thoughts coming in your head, that is being conscious. Mind the horns and the planes. We are in a big city over here. But it really is as simple as that. Noticing the thoughts that are coming in your head and not judging them, just saying, hey, I'm going to stop them here. And that's like separating yourself from your consciousness. And that is what consciousness is being aware of what you're thinking. Saying to yourself, I am witnessing this happening. Why am I judging it? Let me just stop. Just stop and say thank you. I'm not going to pick this apart. I'm not going to try to figure this out. I'm not going to put my opinion on it. I'm not going to think at all, almost. I am just going to go back to source and say thank you. And it truly is as simple as that. When you are having all these thoughts in your mind, you're just doing too much, and that creates a mental clutter. This is how you remove it. You just stop and become aware. And the more you do this, the more you practice this, you'll start to notice you're becoming more conscious of every minute of your life, because you're getting better at it now. You're getting good, and you're realizing how much you're actually judging things. Have you ever, sat around and thought, let me try to see how many situations I judge in one day, or even just in an hour or two? It's all the little details. I mean, it can be as simple as you're cleaning your apartment and you're judging why your floor is so dirty. I mean, I know it sounds silly, but stopping that thought and just saying thank you. Thank you, I have floors to clean. As absolutely ridiculous and silly as it sounds, it starts with those small, tiny things in your life, and that grows into bigger things. And this is all rooting and planting the roots of your subconscious and how your mind thinks when you're not actively aware of it. We are all truly connected in one way or another. I can promise you that. The whole world, every person you are somehow connected to. So if there's something around you that someone else is doing that you don't like, it could potentially be a shadow within yourself that you need to face and move forward from. You think about maybe a stranger that you don't even know and just wishing them well. These are how you remove your abundance blocks. And if you do these and become more aware every single day, it will start to happen for you. It doesn't matter if you have been broke your whole life, unsuccessful your whole life. It starts with practicing these small things, not just once or twice, but every single day. And it doesn't have to be a big, profound thing. You can start small, like I said, with the tiny little tasks that you're doing daily, and each day take on one more thing or one more scenario, and you'll slowly start to realize that every thought is a projection. So if something in your life you don't like because of someone else, it's truly a projection of you and your thought, and that's going to trigger your surrounding, and you'll start to see it. And that's when your subconscious starts working for you for your benefit, and you won't have to worry because it'll be so trained. You won't have to worry about bad things happening in your life because you will have reprogrammed your subconscious to do the work for you in the manner of gratitude and light and what is best for yourself and what aligns with you, so that you can, in your daily life, align with whatever you choose to become or have around you, whether it's people, places, or things. So just remembering these key points. This is the first episode I'm diving into. Of course, I have a dozen other things that I want to add to this, but I'm going to try to take it episode by episode so these are not too much in length, and you guys can listen to this in your car or while you're cleaning or while you're getting ready. And I just hope that it gives you that extra little push of motivation that you need, whether it's in your life altogether or if you're just having a bad day or a negative moment. I hope for you to just turn on these episodes and bring yourself back up to a positive mindset to get you back to yourself and get you back to positivity and get you back on track, because it's so easy to get off track. It happens to all of us. Giving more of my story. I don't think I'm going to fit it in this episode, but I do slowly want to get into it. So I know I said in the beginning that I was going to give you my story firsthand, but this kind of took off on its own life. So I want to keep it organic and genuine, and this is just what worked for the first episode. So stay tuned, and remember, you guys can ask me anything. I will open up more and more throughout these episodes in sharing who I am as a person, where I came from, why I'm here, and how I'm here. So let's get your mind working for you. Thank you guys so much for listening. This is HOLLYWEIRD. I am your host, Karina Marie. Don't forget to subscribe. Love and light to all, and I'll see you next week in the next episode. Bye, guys.